Before I begin, I would just like to let you guys know that if you happen to notice that this video is just a little bit tilted, just because I didn't bring my stand with me because I didn't think I need it, but I saw I make like a little makeshift stand using my phone as a light in order to help film this video, so that's why it kind of looks like a kind of weird looking. So, PlayStation Experience 2016 is now over, and I just want to share you just a couple of things that I saw and did over the pretty much over the weekend. Overall, I can say that from my first PlayStation experience and my first real gaming convention in about 3 years, I can say that it was good, but it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, and I would still consider probably E3 2013 significantly better than PlayStation Experience 2016. Now, I'm going to start off with pretty much everything that happened on day one. Day one, I left my hotel at about 9-ish, got to the convention center at about 9:20, and there was already lines. It was already packed, so I kind of knew that I probably should have arrived a lot sooner. And that was when they initially had the press screening. Now, where I was sitting, I sat in this little circle-like area in front of a fountain, and they had this giant truck that had this giant television stand, so that's pretty much how I was watching the entire conference. I can say that for the overall, I don't think they really presented anything video-wise that I thought was really impressive. It was probably stuff that, you know, I was going to check out when we finally got into the convention center itself. And they didn't really have any really major announcements. That was until the end, which I'm not going to say it, but I will say this: I have never felt more sick hearing an announcement for a game probably since hearing that Final Fantasy 13 was getting a sequel. I had never felt this sick since then. And I know that there are millions of people that are super excited and are going apeshit over this game. But you gotta understand something. I'm one of the few people out there that openly kind of thought the game was mediocre, thought it was overrated, and overall I thought it was just an okay game. But over time, as people just kept talking about it and kept saying all these things I just completely disagreed with, I kind of started to grow a sort of personal hatred towards the game. And I knew that this day was inevitable because how popular it was. I was just hoping they would wait till E3. They didn't. They announced it here. So this is all anyone has been talking about. I don't even want to talk to my friends about it because I'll just get frustrated and just really stressed out. I'm not going to say it on my channel, but I'm just going to move on. I'm just going to say I have no plans on talking about this game, mentioning its name, or even have any interest in even giving it a chance in terms of when it officially releases. That's just my statement. So, going back into PlayStation Experience Day 1. It was a complete fucking disaster, probably the first half. Because as soon as the conference was actually over, getting into the building itself was difficult. The problem is that the organizers, I don't think they were prepared in order for how this whole thing was going to work out, because there were two lines to get in. There was one line that people were in order to get your badges, and there was another line for you to actually get into the convention center itself. The problem was that there was no divider. There was really no organization in order to separate the lines. And so you initially had one much longer line that kind of snaked around the walk path and went around the building, and then you had a second line that was kind of snaking alongside that same line, and everyone was getting kind of confused because no one could figure out where the beginning was or where the end started. It was a total mess, and I even heard a couple of the organizers kind of arguing, saying this was just a complete disaster. As soon as the conference was over, I actually had to go to the back of the line, which snaked around the building itself, and it took me legitimately about 2 hours to actually get into the building. Once I got into the building itself, everywhere was packed. I kind of didn't like it that much. And I think that was probably one of my biggest issues that I have with PlayStation Experience that I don't think I experienced with E3. I think the fact that with E3 you actually have to be accepted to go into E3 as opposed to PlayStation Experience where just about anyone can get in. And I think that the fact that E3 is bigger and it's limited, even though I'm pretty sure more people can go to E3, it felt much more organized and you could kind of get around a lot easier. PlayStation Experience felt very, very cramped the first day. There was just a ton of people. It took hours just to get anywhere, and I didn't even really get to play or test out anything. What I did get to test out on the first day was only one VR game, because there was 4 VR booths initially. There was 4 of them, and I only tried out one, just so I could finally get my hands on VR. And I played a game called Eve Valkyrie, which is pretty much a virtual reality kind of, I guess, air flight simulator, which takes place in space. I thought that for my first experience with VR, it's okay, but I'm still not willing to fork up $400 for it. It's just not worth it. And I still am not sold on the whole goggles setup. The problem is that I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage when I was playing that game because I have to wear glasses. And the fact that the display, it literally covers your entire vision. And because you have to constantly looking around, there are blind spots below and above my glasses. And so as I was constantly moving around, my vision was blurry. So in order to even see, I actually had to take my glasses and raise them up and kind of adjust it as I was moving. And if that's really what I have to do in order to use this thing, then it's probably not something I'm even interested in, because I'm perfectly fine with playing on a rectangular screen television. I'm perfectly fine. I get the same type of experience. I don't need to actually feel like I'm in the game in order to enjoy the flight simulator. I never have, and I don't need VR in order to enhance my experience. So I was really put off by VR, and I said I wasn't interested in getting it. This just confirmed it. I thought it was a good one-time experience. I ended up actually getting the first score and the highest score on my team, which was kind of fun. But I'm still not sold on VR. After that, I kind of just walked around a lot, took a lot of pictures, took a lot of video, saw some mascots, took some more pictures, but really the first day, that's really all I could do. It was just too busy. I didn't feel like sitting in line for too long, and this was another thing. I hate comparing it to E3, but for some reason I didn't have any lines, legitimately no lines. I mean, the lines were moving so fast. I think it's because there were more panels at PlayStation Experience that actually had you playing games than they were at E3 3 years ago. With three years ago at E3, you didn't really play too many games. You kind of went into these like setups where they took you in groups of people and they simply test demoed the game, and they were just explaining to you what the game was about. And I think that that would have been just as significant than me actually having my hands on it. So I would say that overall, everything that happened in the first day just did not go very well at all. It did not really have a great time. And it was 12 hours long, so I was on my feet the entire time, and when I got home to when I got back to my hotel, I was just so tired. My feet hurt. I posted a little bit of a rant on a specific type of shoes, and I had people giving me funny responses, and I was just thinking, like, okay, we just went through 12 hours. The next day, hopefully it won't be as bad because we'll only be there for about 8 hours. So day 2 starts, and it is significantly better. There was far less people, so it was much easier to get around. The organizers got their shit together, so the lines were separate. So it was really, really fast to get in. So as opposed to waiting about 2 hours to get in, it took us about 20 minutes to get in, and that was even with a long line. So kudos to the organizers, they got the shit together. Once we got in, it was much quieter, the lines were moving much, much faster. The first thing that I had to test out was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which I had already pre-ordered. It was fun. It was great to get my hands on it. I'm glad I already pre-ordered the collection edition. This is definitely a game I will be looking forward to in 2017. The next game I played after that was just a number of indie titles. My favorite indie title by far was a game called, it was like something Ex Machina. It was like this kind of indie shooter. It reminds me of another game that I really enjoyed that came out earlier on the PlayStation 4's release. I cannot think of the game now, but if I do, I'll be sure to mention it right here and post a picture of it, because I had a blast playing the game. That was probably my favorite indie title that I played at PlayStation Experience. I took a lot more video. I took a lot more pictures this time. I got around a lot more. I was able to test out the PlayStation Pro 4K TV setup that they had. I'm still not set up. I'm not convinced by the Pro. I don't think I need it. I already own 3 PlayStation 4s. They all work perfectly fine. I'm perfectly happy with my 45-inch screen television. And I think that the fact that in order to really enjoy this experience, you actually have to buy a 4K TV. And in my opinion, it just doesn't look significantly better. I mean, okay, there's a little bit more detail between regular PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Pro. That's not enough for me to fork up another $400 to buy a new console or even trade a console that's working perfectly fine in order to upgrade. I'll be perfectly fine with the consoles I have now. After that, I went around and I played just a bunch of games, just too many to number. I went to multiple different booths, collected a number of cards. I got a bunch of collectibles, which I'll be sure to share with you guys here. And the second day just went much more smoothly. I wish the first day had done that, but it didn't. And it was really the second day that kind of made my entire trip to PlayStation Experience even worth it. There was an added bonus, however, for those of you that follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I actually met a family member there, which I was completely shocked by because I hadn't seen her in a number of years. So, but that was without question the highlight of my entire trip here. That was another reason that made the entire trip to coming PlayStation Experience 2016 completely worth it. But by the end of the second day, I can say that if PlayStation Experience is something that you've been interested in wanting to go, I would certainly give it a try. I do decide to come back next year for 2017, which I absolutely do plan on doing. I will be sure to take someone with me. It is just much more fun to bring someone with me. I think it really helps taking pictures and getting video, because I was able to get a lot of footage of games that I was playing, but I couldn't necessarily get video of myself playing it, and that's really easier if you have someone you know and trust there. And there are people around that could do that, but I just there's a certain way I like my filming done, and that was just probably something that I just could not explain to the staff there. It was just hard to do. Now, just to go over a quick little run through of all the little gifts that I got. When I went to Horizon Zero Dawn, I got this little inflatable staff that she uses to kill all those robotic animals, and she used to take control of it. Thought that was fun. Next thing is I went to this booth that gave a lot of these like customizable like gaming gear, and they had you stand in line. And if you spin this wheel, then you would get like a special deal or a special item. I ended up actually winning a special hat, which it actually fits kind of nicely. I'm not sure I would take it over my PlayStation cap, but it's called Afterglow Performance Design Products. So this is one of their hats. Got it in green, so I thought that was pretty cool. Got a poster. I can't remember where I got this one, but oh yeah, they were holding a Call of Duty World Championship there. I saw a couple matches. I'm not really big on big tournaments. By the way, they also, I think on the first day they were also holding the Capcom Street Fighter tournament there. I didn't see it too much because I'm more of a Mortal Kombat person, but I gotta say, it definitely did draw in a crowd. And I think one of the last gifts that I ended up getting was, I think as soon as I was done testing out one of the PlayStation's like VR centers, they gave me like this little piece of paper, this voucher, and I went and I got it exchanged for just like a backpack and this TBS cup and some lip balm. I guess that's nice of them. And that is just about everything in a nutshell in terms of my overall experience at PlayStation Experience 2016. So overall, It was a good experience, not great. It was really great to catch up with a really close family member of mine. I need to bring a friend next time. Hopefully, they can come up with some better announcements, except for the last. I almost said it. Except for the last announcement. But hopefully, I will be able to use this in order to try to get back to E3 next year, and I will definitely be coming back to maybe PlayStation Experience next year for sure, and maybe another convention. So those are just my initial thoughts and just an overall run-through of my complete PlayStation experience. If there was anything that you guys saw that you were excited to see, or if you want to ask me if I actually happen to experience and I didn't mention in the video, please tell me in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to answer all of your comments as quickly as I can. And if you like this little kind of PlayStation 2-day run through, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me with my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.